Watch this.
President Joe Biden announced the pardon of some federal marijuana charges. He's also requested United States governors to do the same at the state level. So what does Governor Little have to say here in Idaho? The first of its kind in college sports, and we got our hands on some for you. The highly anticipated Boise State football player trading cards just hit shelves this morning, and we're going to open some packs live with Jay Tust ahead of the big game tomorrow night. And it is Friday. Congratulations. Time to kick back, relax, and appreciate the good in our lives. People like you told us how they're faring on this Feel Good Friday. Oh, happy Friday. You made it through the week. And we're going to actually pick up this show where we sort of left it off last night. A viewer question at the end of the 208 about a major announcement from President Biden. So if you tuned in, you may remember this. Grant wrote in, why aren't you discussing President Biden's marijuana announcement today? It's a good question. We appreciate that. Well, that news came in right as we were getting the show on the road last night. So promise delivered here. We're going to circle back. If you missed it, though, President Biden tweeted this on Thursday evening, saying, quote, "Today, I announced a pardon of all prior federal offenses of simple possession of marijuana, urged governors to do the same, and asked HHS and DOJ to review how marijuana is scheduled under federal law." So I reached out to Governor Little's office for his response to the president in the idea of pardoning simple marijuana possession in Idaho. And a statement from his office says this in part, quote, the governor saying, "It is clear President Biden issued this blanket pardon for show, setting a bad precedent when cases should be reviewed on their individual merits. But what's not clear is whether Biden really understands that individuals incarcerated for possession of small amounts of marijuana almost always have accompanying offenses, making his blanket pardon basically pointless." The statement goes on to say, "Here in Idaho, we will continue to fight for a secure border and make our correctional system fair with a focus on keeping dangerous people off the street." So the governor didn't say no, but that's a no. And Governor Little is in a unique spot here in the Northwest with the request from Biden. Marijuana is illegal in Idaho, 100%, no exceptions. So in Idaho, pardoning minor marijuana convictions is very different than it would be just over the border in Oregon or Washington or Nevada or Montana or Utah. Idaho is basically surrounded by states that have legalized marijuana or medical marijuana, like in Utah. So the discussion here is a lot different in Idaho. We also got reaction today from the man who hopes to replace Governor Little in about a month on Election Day, his opponent in the race for governor, Democrat Stephen Haidt. And his press release was sent out at 4:20 p.m., so you can imagine what his response is, but here it is. And Haidt says in part that he supports President Biden's statement that no one should be in jail just for using or possessing marijuana. He goes on to say specifically, quote, "Idaho citizens with convictions for marijuana possession are often denied employment, housing, travel visas, and educational opportunities. They are sitting in our prisons, costing taxpayers millions of dollars, and unable to work and support their families or contribute to society. Having worked in Idaho prisons, I have witnessed this issue firsthand. As governor, I would relieve the collateral damages that come from these petty convictions, pardoning Idahoans' conviction of simple possession of marijuana," Haidt says in that statement. So there you have it. And I did see a question from our audience about any efforts to legalize marijuana in Idaho. And there actually was a campaign to get an initiative on the ballot for this November in 2022. That did not happen. So organizers say they are working to try again for 2024. Speaking of the election, November 8th, 2022, circle that on your calendar in red. We are 1 month away from Election Day. And starting this weekend, Ada County registered voters will start to see postcards that have information on their voting precinct and polling location delivered right to their mailbox. So keep your eyes open. This is important info. It may be info that is different from the past. Also, here's a couple of reminders for you. You can register to vote before Election Day online, and you can also register at your polling location the day of the election. Polls in Idaho open at 8 a.m. local time and close at 8 p.m. local time. And remember, if you are in line by 8 p.m., you will get the opportunity to vote. If you're voting in person, you will need a state ID or be required to sign a personal identification affidavit. Basically, you're swearing under penalty of law you are who you say you are. And if you requested an absentee ballot, it must be received by your county elections office by 8 p.m. on November 8th. And speaking of absentee ballots, you can still request those online or by mail. You will still need a state ID, and you must already be registered to vote. Early voting in person opens on October 24th. So be sure to check out the Secretary of State's Election Division website for all related election info. And if you miss anything here, you go to our website, KTVB.com. We're starting to aggregate everything you need to know ahead of Election Day here in Idaho. And coming up in about a month, again, is Election Day. And ahead of that, I know there's requests from our viewers. You want to hear more about the issues and from the candidates. We're going to work our best here on the 208 to get your questions answered ahead of Election Day, so you know who to vote for. All right, it is the first of its kind in college athletics. Boise State has released player trading cards for the entire football team. And the licensed trading cards are available at Jackson's gas stations, although we are hearing from many of you at home that there may not be a lot of packs left. They are very, very popular. But here in a rare sighting right here on the 208, we've got our KTVB sports director, Jay Tust. He's going to open up a pack of these cards. We're going to talk about these, Jay. I gotta pull them out here from the... Okay. So here we go. We got these 2 packs of cards here. And Jay, you got one, I got one.
You know what? I kind of wanted this.
You want that one? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to open these cards. These are just the official packs. We don't have special packs. So we're going to start opening them, and we're going to show them here on screen. But, Jay, as we start opening these, tell me, is this a unique thing? Is Boise State really the first to do this?
This is a one-of-a-kind thing in college football right now. What makes this unique, Joe, is the fact that the entire team is represented in this deck of cards. If you see more common card companies like Topps, for example, get involved, usually they just want 1 or 2 of the best players on each team. So every single player on the Boise State football team will be making some type of NIL money off of this pack of cards. If you sign the cards, you're going to make a little bit more money. You got Luke Voorhees right there, a backup tight end.
I think
I said, the cool thing about this is that everybody benefits from this, Joe. And so if you look at I love the packaging. It feels official. It feels real. It feels authentic. And the cool thing about this too is that 1 out of every 10 packs has a card that is autographed. So let's hope that one of our packs has that card. Dallas Holliday, a backup offensive lineman. Garrett Curran, a starting right-left guard for the Boise State football team. Marco Notarini went down with a season-ending knee injury at New Mexico. He's got a bright future, though. James Wilbon, he's kind of waiting his turn to make an impact on the Boise State football team. Cortez Hogans, he's a transfer from a junior college, still waiting for him to get healthy enough to play. You see Taylor Markham, look at that card right there. That right there, this is a local player, played at Timberline High School last year. He's a walk-on. Like I said, every single player is a part of this NIL deal. Caden Dudley is a Colorado kid.
Go Buffs.
Like our Colorado kid. Well, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't play for the Buffs.
He doesn't play for the Buffs.
He plays for Boise State.
Taylon Green, there you go.
Oh, that's a big one.
That's a
Jay,
nice card right there.
This is a big poll right here.
The cool thing about this is that some of the more prominent players, they have more cards. So if you go out and you buy one of these decks, a JL Skinner card right there. JL Skinner will appear in about 40% of these decks. So if you go out and you buy a pack of these cards, which retails at $12.99, there's a good chance that you're going to get a really good player at some point in time. And you just pulled Taylon Green as well as Caleb Biggers, who's got an NFL future.
You ready for this, though?
And JL Skinner.
I got my Chase card.
Oh, what do you got?
Zoom in, Carson.
Buster Bronco.
We've done it.
Big time.
It's him.
I know that you've been waiting for that one.
I have. Well, that was the first question I asked you. Is did Buster Bronco get his own card?
That's big time. I'm going to go through mine real quick.
All right,
Kurt Rafdahl, Eric McAllister, Will Farah. Hey, starting center. John Ojukwu, another local guy, played high school ball over at Boise High. Garrett Curran. Keikani Okoa, Malia Gonzalez. I love his name.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right? DJ Schramm, becoming a star. Ben Ford, the pride of Eagle High School. Isaiah Bradford, there it is, George Halani. Love that one.
We got some good cards, Jay.
Billy Bowens, and I got Buster Bronco too.
Oh, you did? Does everyone get Buster?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe everyone gets Buster.
Not everybody does.
Well, not everyone, so we got lucky here.
Just lucky. Hey, I got some video that I want to roll for you because I want to take you through.
The factory, right?
How the sausage is made, if you will. So, this is a local company, On It Marketing, and they stepped forward and they said, hey, we can fulfill this request from Boise State. They didn't have a ton of time to turn it around. They designed these cards, they print these cards all in the same shop. If you feel them, Joe, these kind of have like a nice little glossy feel to them.
Yeah.
In a moment here, you're gonna see that they actually throw this a laminate over it. It's kind of a process that preserves the card, it protects the card, it makes it feel a little sturdier. It also gives it a little longer life, right? And so that's the process you're seeing right here. And then they package these things up and they distribute them. This has been a huge success so far, Joe. There are multiple Jacksons at the moment that have already sold out. I see a lot of reaction on Twitter about how cool this is.
Yeah.
And coming up tomorrow on the Bronco Roundup Game Day Show, we're going to talk with Mike Walsh. He is the in-house NIL guru over there at Boise State. He is the brains behind this, and it has been an absolute big hit. Can't wait to see where this goes in the future.
Also, so again, we weren't lucky here live on TV.
Yeah.
We didn't get an autographed one.
Didn't get an autographed
But
one.
what you can do is you can find your favorite player, and if it's not autographed, you can find them in town.
Yeah, absolutely. Stay after the game.
There you go.
The guys love to interact with the fans. I bet you can get an autograph then.
All right, well, you and I, after the Mariners game, got to have a conversation. We got to make some
Go
trades.
M's.
So, okay. All right, well, Jay, thank you for joining us here on the 208. We're going to step aside. This Friday edition of the 208 rolls on after this. Seriously. It's Friday. The weekend has started for some. And the news, you know, it tends to highlight some of the bad, the negative, the less than savory stories. That's the nature of the business. But today, we asked you for your good news on Feel Good Friday. That's ahead. We also want to hear more from you at home. Whether it's good news, comment, questions, criticism, send it our way. We want you to join the conversation. So you can text me anytime, really, 208-321-5614. You can also leave us a voicemail at this number if you're not a texter. But as always, be sure to include your name and hashtag the 208. We're going to share some of your messages and comments at the end of the show, so stay tuned. That's still ahead. We don't usually do traffic updates for you here on the 208, but I do want to let you know there's going to be a traffic jam of sorts set to cause a standstill in Ketchum this weekend, but we're not talking about motorized traffic. Oh no. This weekend is the annual Trailing of the Sheep event. It's actually wrapping up on this weekend. It's been running all week. And celebrations, they go beyond the movement of sheep. There's the Wolves Festival, the Sheep Tales Historic Story Time, culinary events around the love of lamb and all things sheep and lamb. And sheep herding history is very rich here in the Gem State, and specifically in the Wood River Valley. And on Sunday, the stars of the show pound the pavement through Ketchum. It's an amazing sight. And we actually spent some time among the sheep back in 2018 as they made their way down Highway 75. At the time, we spoke with their herder, John Faulkner, who will be there this weekend, and we spoke with him about the significance of the yearly movement through Ketchum. And this is fun for me personally. I'm going to throw it to myself from the past. This is a 208 redial. Joe, to you. Here come the sheep. You can see them here behind me as they're about to head through downtown Ketchum. Now in its 22nd year, the trailing of the sheep has become a fall tradition that Idahoans and really people around the world have grown to love. In a few minutes, this large group of sheep will be trailing through downtown Ketchum. As a part of their annual migration, the sheep took over downtown Ketchum as thousands of people lined the streets for the famous parade. Since 1996, sheep have added this event to their busy schedule, and like every year, today people from across the Northwest cheer them on in appreciation. For rancher John Faulkner, today is just another day at the office. He and his family appreciate the fanfare around his flock traveling down Main Street, but at the end of the day, they've got a job to do. But year after year, Faulkner still loves it.
Every day's a little different.
Yeah.
But we work with the weather, and we work with the sheep. And we're out here all the time. I was born into it. I'm 86 now. And that's all I know. I'm not going to quit.
Corralling sheep is not easy work. If one sheep goes astray, like the saying says, the others follow along like sheep. But the professional staff of ranchers and trained herder dogs made sure the sheep had a one-way trip, this time with no detours. After an eventful day for the sheep, miles down the road from downtown, they finally got to rest for the evening. They will soon, though, be heading further along their journey in Idaho before being sent to California, where they'll spend the winter. In Ketchum, Joe Paris, Idaho's News Channel 7. Boy, that young reporter's really got some promise. Trailing of the sheep parade with Faulkner and livestock sheep is coming up on Sunday, October 9th. It'll be Main Street in Ketchum right at noon. A big thing that you need to know, do not bring your dogs to this. The collies and the guard dogs that you watch in the story, they're hard at work, and they're trained to just be that, guard dogs. So they're there to defend, so you don't want to trigger that. So stay away, stay quiet. If you have any questions at all, we actually have some information you can find on our website, ktvb.com. But it's a great family event. Hope to see some of you there this weekend. All right, it is time for a little reflection on the week. Photojournalist Kevin Esslinger and I set up our camera near the Friendship Bridge on the bank of the Boise River to get the good news, the fun, and the lighter side of life, seeing what the people of Boise had to say on this Feel Good Friday. Tell us your good news.
Some good news is that
Why is it furry?
It's a wind mic.
It's a wind mic?
Like that, just speak into it.
man, this is hard.
What brings you to Boise?
I was taking a tour because I just got accepted here, so
Well, that's good news.
yeah, the early admission, so yeah, it's good news.
So what's it like being on campus?
I love it. It's my #1 choice so far. I love the school, the environment, and everything. I really do love it.
Well, that's some good news.
Yeah, I guess it is some good news.
Good news in our families. I'm expecting my first grandchild, and they are expecting their first niece or nephew.
My good news is I'm visiting my daughter.
Big Parents Weekend?
Big Parents Weekend. She's a sophomore. I'm very proud of her, and I'm very happy to be here.
It's been a long time.
Is it nice to see Mom this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
So my good news is that I have 100% in one of my classes.
That's got to be a good feeling headed into
Yeah.
the weekend.
It feels great, yeah.
You get the work done during the week, and then you enjoy the weekend.
Exactly.
But my good news is that I'm not a football fan, but I am a soccer fan, and my team won the first game of the season last weekend. West Ham United beat Wolves 2-0. Yes.
There we go. West Ham.
Yeah.
That's where you're from.
I'm from London.
London? Okay, so what do you think of Boise?
I think it's fantastic so far. I want to come back to university. Never mind him. I think I'm going to sign up. Yeah. Yeah, it's wonderful.
4 couples came for Parents Weekend to just all be together and celebrate our lovely Ollie's senior year and go to the game together, and lovely weather. We're so happy to be here.
It's like a perfect homecoming weekend.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And we are very excited for the Mariners. We come from Seattle.
We're very excited. And we get to watch the game with our 2 freshmen that are here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that doesn't get much better.
It doesn't get much better.
Baseball with the boys?
Yep. So we're going to meet them right now.
I would imagine that there hasn't been a playoff game in their lifetime.
Nope.
No, there hasn't. First time. And they're both huge Mariner fans. Everyone in Seattle's a Mariner fan.
So that's some good news.
Right?
Mariners baseball in the playoffs.
That's right.
Tell me your good news.
We're in Boise for the first time. It's a beautiful day for a wedding. Can it be any better than this great town?
Where are you guys visiting from?
Denver. We just arrived. Somebody said come to Julia Davis Park, which we did, and now we're digesting this beautiful, beautiful city.
It's gorgeous.
It is.
We're just going to explore. It's so pretty.
My good news is that my midterm's finished.
So that's going to be a real sigh of relief.
Yes.
Any big plans for the weekend?
No, gonna hang out with some friends. Maybe do some homework.
This is my niece. It's the first time here to Boise, visiting her niece, which is my daughter, sophomore here, and we're having a blast. And my brother and his wife are coming, so it'll be the 3 brothers and the 3 wives, and we're having a great time.
So a beautiful family weekend in Boise.
It is.
It is, and everybody here is so nice, and I know that's the Boise way.
It is.
We're enjoying
and
it.
you say Boise right.
Of course.
I thought it was Boise.
No,
I got
Boise.
schooled on the airplane.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll set you straight real
Oh,
quick.
they did.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. We appreciate it. Enjoy your weekend.
Oh, likewise.
You too.
Well, I've had a lot of indications where many of you have been saying, I'd love to see this fall weather continue, the 70s, 80 degrees, that sort of thing. So I have here what's expected in the next 2 weeks. Now, blue, that's below average. We don't want to see that, but they do have it along the East Coast. This means pretty close to average. As the temperatures get darker, that means a better chance of warmer temperatures, as you see in the Midwest. And there it is right there for Idaho. So that gets us almost toward the end of the month. And when you look at this, you can see that 81 was our high today and the average is 70. So it's saying temperatures will be above average. The average drops to near 65 degrees as we get toward the end of the month. So we're still kind of looking at the 70s. We may have a few days where it could dip even more than that, but it looks like things could still continue running at the same speed that we have right now. So you see for tomorrow, it's pretty close to 80 degrees. We have that through next Tuesday, and then it starts to cool down as you look at your 7-day forecast.
we're in for a treat because Jay Tust is here to answer your questions on the Bronco sports cards that we open. So let's throw up the viewer questions. We'll get going here. This person says, Jay, do players share in the profits from the cards?
Yes, they do. According to some of the players, every player on the team gets about $300. The guys that sign the limited edition cards get another $500 or so on top of that. So it's pretty cool. Like I said, every player, 1 through 104, gets some type of NIL profit from this.
All right, next question, and this is the kind of one that I had as well. This person says, $12.99, those cards better have some bubble gum. That's from Terry. Yeah, so no gum in these.
Terry, I'm sorry, no bubble gum. 14 cards per pack, $12.99 per pack. 1 out of every 10 packs has a limited edition autographed card. And that limited edition card, it looks different than this. It kind of has a nice little sheen or almost hologram to it. That's signed, so kind of cool.
And I think we have, basically, Jay was standing just off camera during the whole 208, by the way, and he organized all the cards. There we go. What are we looking at there?
We got almost the entire starting offense, and we only opened up 2 packs, Joe, so that's pretty good. We got the main guys in Taylor Green and George Halani. I will say this, I improvised a little bit. Buster Bronco playing the interior of that defensive line.
What a force.
A formidable defensive approach right there for Andy Avalos as well as Spencer Danielson, the defensive coordinator. But this is a really cool thing. I think these are going pretty fast, Joe. It really seems like that's the case. But again, I'm going to have more information on all this coming up tomorrow on the Bronco Roundup Game Day Show.
Bronco Roundup Game Day Show, 4 p.m. right here on 7. And we'll also have coverage from the NHL game.
Joe, I'm opening up cards. The Mariners just won a playoff game. Is it 1995 or what?
Let's go, Jay.
Let's go.
How much?